Hello, everybody. It looks like actually we did go live correctly this time. I know Rumble's had some issues lately, so give me a 5-5 if you can see me. Chat, excuse me. And I know that my Firefox browser has been having some challenges, so I'll have to look at another browser real quick here. Oh, looks like we're working good today. Hey, Denise, nice to see you in here. And we got a 5-5. That is fantastic. Wow, things look like they're running good today. I love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, I have some amazing guests today that I'm going to bring on, Jarin Kenyon and Greg Schumacher. But first, let's get started with the song, roll through a couple things, do some housekeeping, and then I'm very, very, very excited about these two gentlemen. A lot of integrity. And then they take things in a direction that I really, really like. It's not the standard same old to say. And let's do this just in case you guys want it. I'm going to record this for you. Perfect. All right, let's roll with the song here. Okay, housekeeping's done, gentlemen. So good to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much. I guess I'll go first, Jarin. Yeah, we were over there hosting Rise TV. We saw a lot of familiar faces on that Truth Tour you got coming up that we've had on a few of them on our show and had some wonderful conversations. You know, we see that the world is now coming to the age of Aquarius, and it's now time for us to reach inside of ourselves and start living from within to the external. And as we were put through some really tough choices, tough situations, some people had to lose their job, including my wife. A lot of things happened to us in that time. We became stronger. We became the grassroots movement. And so at Rise TV, we're all about neutrality. We try to have on all kinds of guests, as long as they make sense, right? As long as they have a great message. We want to talk to them. We want to talk about flat Earth. We want to talk about galactic stuff. You know, we want to talk about authors and people with health things, doctors, hypnotists. We talk to everybody, and we have enlightening conversations, including Lewis. We had Lewis on. That was a wonderful conversation we had. And just really do a Jeet Kune Do, like Bruce Lee. Bring in the best ideas, whatever resonates with you as an individual internally. Take those ideas within from Lewis and from Jarin and from Greg and from Ishmael and whoever else out there, and make them part of you. Make your own amazing religion that you want to go forward with and lead from within. Find your authentic self. So that's what we're all about here, Rise. Go ahead, Jarin.
That's beautifully said.
Wow. Yeah, well said, my man in the zone today. So yeah, how do I follow that, everybody? No, just kidding. So yeah, I think touch upon Greg talked about the age of Aquarius as one reference point to the timing we're in. And of course, we know that there is no such thing as time and inevitability. All that exists in the moment, and that's the only way that you can make transformation and impact on your life.
Jarin, you're echoing a bit off that microphone. You're echoing.
Really?
Yeah, it's doubling. So I don't know if you can.
Hold on a moment.
Once in a while, he has that issue with the microphone. We have it on our show too, here and there.
I think he has the hip hop setting on.
Yeah, the hip hop. Nope.
Now you're a robot.
Yeah. You're going to have to switch over to the earbuds. Yeah.
All right. So while you're figuring that out, so Greg, what I appreciate about both of you is what you just said. I think it's very, very important. It's like, I'm not the arbiter of truth, and especially but what somebody has internally that why they want to move forward and create their own. You call it a religion. We can call it whatever we want, but they want to create whatever their future destiny is themselves, what they resonate with. I love that you say it's not up to you or me to tell them what it is. Throw the ideas out there and let them pick what works for them.
Yeah, for sure. And, when we talk about truth, what is truth, right? Truth is in the moment. What's true yesterday might not be true for you today. So we have to be careful on being dogmatic, right? We get so fixated on an idea, even if it's Donald Trump, for instance. What if he's your biggest hero, your superhero in your mind? Well, what does that do to you? It limits you. You're not being your own superhero, right? Allow Donald to do Donald. You do you, right? And that's what we get caught up in, this movement, I think. And I've seen it over the last 4 years, where people are so fixated on a couple of people, or, JFK, he's alive and he's going to come and save everybody. We're here as a grassroots movement. If you've seen a lot of the material out there, it's a grassroots movement right now. The Age of Aquarius is about you and finding your authentic self, who you truly are inside, beyond all the ego and the programs and the loops and the schooling and the work environments. It's who you are, truly, the spirit inside. And that's what we're trying to get to. Jarin, are you back with us?
You able to hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know why it is that I can do interviews all day yesterday and this morning, and it's working, and I get on with Lewis here and it's not working. So I'm going to blame you, Lewis. Just kidding.
And as you should. It's not the first time, brother.
So we're back here now, and touching upon, Greg mentioned Aquarius again. What I was referencing to is that we are at that timing, but first and foremost, to realize time does not exist. It's relative, but the only thing that exists is in the now, and that's the only way that you can cause transformation and manifestation of your dreams, your goals, your purpose, and evolution. It all happens in the now, not waiting for something to come to you, waiting for something to save you. That being said, moving to the Age of Aquarius, it's a very different time. We're moving out of a subconscious programming, even amongst people of intentional love and light, that are coming from this aspect of saving. And we're moving through and out of that into the light of the Aquarius, which is about living in your image. It's about pursuing your happiness, pursuing your joy, pursuing your purpose, and living authentically, as I think was touched upon earlier. Being your real true self that is also in constant evolution. So you're breaking your old thought patterns. You're breaking your old limits. You're evolving beyond who you used to be, but doing it courageously, authentically, and with imperfection. None of us are perfect, right? We're all here to go through it and do the best we can. But as you lead your light in yourself, this is how you impact the world and the new earth. And then you will resonate and align with those that are around you, that are your tribe, so to speak, your allies that will fit and support your mission. They will actually give you places, talk about the word design. They will bring you gifts and talents and attributes that you yourself are receptive to, so that you can operate in synergy and as a team. So a lot of this new earth talk, we need to remember that it's individual first. Of course, you are responsible for your own life, your own transformation. And then who's your tribe? Who do you align to, and who are you being humanitarian with for the collective? And I say that because, again, it's coming from a time where a lot of people out there are looking at, when's the collective going to save me? When are this and this and this going to bring this and this out, which is going to make my life better or bring, freedom and sovereignty to the earth? When in actuality, that will occur as those of us do our inner work, be our authentic self, and put forth the time, the attention, the energy, and the intention in what we're going to bring to this earth. And then we will speed up and watch what we wish to see happen in the external world occur due to our inner self and our tribe.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I often say the micro makes the macro, and it's exactly what you're saying is we need to focus internally to be the best we can be, and then that light will spread through the collective, and through the collective, of course. I mean, there's a quantum field out there. I think most people have figured that out now. So there is an energy connection, and we are so powerful together. But if, for example, I guess this just hit me. Let's say we have a Lamborghini, okay? And that's the collective of parts together that make that machine hum. But it could be one broken part inside that. that can really keep that machine from humming as it is. So we need to work on ourselves and be the best that we can be before we can really better the earth.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we look at bad and good, right? We're black and white. We do a lot of this right now. And people call each other out, all those type of things, and even in the truth or in the spiritual communities. But, you know, in all of that, there is always something you can take away from either side, right? And so we have to be really open-minded. We have to be a little bit less rigid and less stabbing, right? We got to be more accepting and say, what is in it for me? Even if it feels bad to you, is there something here I can take away? Is there a lesson? Is there something that this person provides that I haven't seen before that I might like a lot? Because you got to remember, even if it's a gatekeeper, so to speak, they tell about 90% truth. So there's 90% of truth in there. You might be able to take some things away. So you just have to be weary and go inside and have that discernment, right? That, does this feel right to me? Is it vibrating right with me? Is it making me feel better when I walk away or worse when I walk away? And that's how you really figure some things out. And we had talked about this on Rise TV a couple of weeks ago. We think about all those people out there, but who are we surrounded by? What kind of choices do we make in our own lives that are negative, right? The things we eat, the places we go that might have a lot of negative energy, you know, the choices we make for ourselves and our families, you know, on a regular basis. So there's a lot of things that we have to watch out for in our own little community, rather than looking way out into the bigness of the world. So there's a little bit of, let's step back, let's take care of our own self, let's get inside, let's do the right things at least 80% of the time, and then play in the sandbox 20% of the time with some, you know, topics that might be a little rough or things that are fun to you, but I can't make it a habit, right? And that's the type of things we talk about here, and trying to strengthen people and get their mindset in the right spot so that they're not making these rash choices, calling people out and causing negative energy within themselves because they are so focused on those other people.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. So, Jarin, did you want to add to that? I can't hear you.
I'll be on mute, but
I think you're muted.
First thing, just briefly, just want to mention the aspect Greg is speaking to in large part is your attention. And so prime conscious principle number one, so consciousness, cosmic consciousness is more of an accurate phrase here, is attention is your number one prime faculty. So what is your attention on? Are you the one steering your attention, or is your mind and its thinking, or the external steering you? So we want to have times where we pause, we center, we gather our own ability to use our spiritual will, all right, to focus our attention on what we wish it to be around. Because what's law number one? If principle is attention, what's law? Suggestion. Now what we're saying here is, what your attention on is what you're suggesting to yourself and your subconscious, and energizing and imprinting yourself with what will come. To come to you, what you will see continuing around you through various loops, patterns, and other things. So it's not to not allow in information and energy from others. We want to when we intuitively feel to, when we discern that it's right, or when it's in alignment with what we love or what we're passionate about in our learning. But so often we get lost in a lot of, spells, or let's say even wasting our time and energy on things that aren't really even what we want to have our attention on, or don't really even directly impact our life, but we're kind of lost in the movie. So put yourself around what you want to become, right? In your physical world, because that's where you have more opportunity to first of all, to experience real life, right? It's wonderful that you're all watching us on this computer screen or phone, and we appreciate that. But we don't want to be doing that all day, right? We want to be out there hands-on, living life, living in the natural world, making an impact with people in person, right? So put yourself around the people you want to be around, and then check when you are alone and you are in this research and discovery of ascension, that your attention is on what you choose it to be on. And if your body starts to say no, if it starts to not resonate, like Greg says, check, wait a minute, do I want to stay here or not? Am I closed-minded, and am I only choosing to look at the negative? And maybe there's something here for me, because you can learn from every experience. Of course, you've created that experience. So you're there to be able to perceive what you choose to perceive. But if your body's really telling you no, then why stay there? Why listen? Why take it in? And if you don't say the no, the inner no, you will take it in. And it will start to become part of your program and belief system. So if your body's not telling you, it's telling you that this isn't for me, shift away. But that's easier said than done, because of our attention spans being dragged into things like law of distraction and law of looking at a world that is outside me and it's like watching a movie. What about you? Where are you? What do you want to be doing? So really listen inside and have the discernment to trust your body on what to move to next if it isn't for you.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I have a strong belief that we can control our own destiny, and there's a couple ways to do that. Is we can make conscious decisions, and we can also go with that wonderful first instinct message that comes in our head. What we tend to do, and I say we as a individual and as a collective, is I've noticed that people tend to be more reactionary than taking account for their life. And unfortunately, if we spend our life in reaction to outside forces, you're not in control of your life whatsoever. That is in control of you. So I think what your message is very, very powerful. Guys, if I could switch gears here, how did you originally meet?
Well, synchronicity, right? Life is funny how it brings people together. So I had just started a podcast, which was just going to be an audio podcast. I had an idea that I was listening to a lot of biohacking. I was very much into health and fitness, the natural way, the real way, and I wanted to talk about it. So I said, well, I'll buy a microphone and I'll jump on Apple Podcast or something and just try it out. So I made an episode or two, and my wife jumped on with me the third episode, and just have someone to kind of bounce off of. And then I happened to look for a healing massage therapist that was kind of ancient. I was looking around, just seeing if there's anything local. And I ran into this guy, Michael Corcoran, who does shiatsu. And so I got a hold of him, and immediately when I talked to him, I connected with him instantly. And so I went and saw him, and when I was done with my massage, I came out, and his boss was there, and we just got talking, spiritual talk, just awesome talk. And all of a sudden he's like, you know what? You want to come to our Christmas party, our company Christmas party? I was like, I guess so. So I said, if I can make it, I will. So I told my wife, and we had talked about it, but we had a lot going on, but we ended up going, and we stopped at this stranger's house, and we went in and we started talking with him a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Jarin and his friend Tina were there. And Tina she's very much a social butterfly, and she instantly, if she sees somebody that needs to talk or dance or something, she goes up to them. So Tina comes up to me and goes, what's your deal? Why are you here? Who are you?
Oh, wow.
So I just started telling her. And as I was telling her, she's like, you got to meet Jarin. So I had just gone over to meet Jarin, and he had started talking to my wife about human design, which was human design at the time. Now it's cosmic human design. But, and so he had started talking to her and talked to her for about 40 minutes about her kids and different things. And then I started talking to Jarin, and by the end of that party, I looked at Jarin and I said, we're going to do big things together. And he looked at me and he smiled. He said, okay, maybe we will. So I decided to have him on my podcast. And then he just started coming on month after month. And it just turned into, he became a co-host of the podcast. So it was pretty interesting. Do you remember anything more to that story, Jarin, that you could add in?
Well, just my side to it, December 14th, 2018. That was the vital date there, Greg. Remember that. That's our anniversary here. Yeah, I actually, it's interesting. I was in Saratoga Springs, New York. I at the time, about an hour or so above Greg. And there was an event going on, and I cannot remember the technology right now for the life of me, but it was this advanced technology. And it was this kind of machine with crystals that you get in. And I was there for about 10 minutes. I was in it. And I popped out, and then that same lady, Tina, who Greg mentioned, she was speaking to the same gentleman that Greg's referencing to that invited him to the party. And I popped out of it, and immediately she's like, Jarin, you have to meet this guy. And then he invited us to the party. And my gut went off, and I said, yes. I said, sure, let's go. And so that's how it happened. Advanced technology, Greg. Right after I got out of it, I was directed there, and then I think Greg said the rest of the story pretty well.
Was that was that a Rife machine or okay, it wasn't. Okay, wasn't.
No, it wasn't. What was? Yeah, it's an actual thing you lay in, and you got holes to it. And I can't.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of it. Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff. But that was that synchronistic experience, yes. And then showing up when Greg first mentioned it to me, I knew to pause, and I said, okay, well, we'll see, because I have been like going on for years of constant pursuit of the mission and constant pursuit of my growth, and doing a lot with people, to where at that point I was a little bit tired and a little bit thinking, well, I need a break. I was thinking about manifesting my way to, like, trees and oceans and relaxed time at the time, and thinking of taking a pause. But no, quickly after, we resonated, aligned, and then Rise was formed fully for what it is and has evolved to where it is now. And one thing that Greg and I really want to be images of are two people who are individuals. I am Jarin, and I have my imprint, my beliefs, my following, my dreams. Greg has his, just as unique as his are, and yet we can operate in synergy, where one and one are better than our individual parts, so that the sum of our parts is explosively powerful and can reach more things, accomplish more tasks. And the thing is, it's not only about, well, what do we accomplish now? Or what have we done now? It's about the journey, and knowing that in the long term, what is harvesting, in the long term, what our destinies will arrive to. As we traverse through being unique, doing the best we can, following our designs, and seeing what the cosmos, or what God and the quantum field's plan is in the timing, in the how, in the who, in the process, and not looking at it linearly. And I think that's a great thing that 2020 kind of triggered off for more people than prior in this awakening, is the aspect of the quantum reality, or closer to it, where we live in synchronicity. And we can understand that life can change in a moment. It doesn't need to be this linear path of time and effort, and this perspective of what you must do to reach a goal or to reach the next plateau. You begin to realize that it's what you believe, it's what you're emanating, it's what you're pursuing, and then it's also based on the cosmos in harmony. What is nature, and what is the natural reality that's going to bring us the right things at the right time in synchronicity? For like a tree that branches off, it's way beyond us. It's who's our tribe, and what our imprint is to bring in amongst others that are resonating at the similar vibrational level, but offer different talents. So it's kind of like this, this band growing of people known and unknown into what our goals are for this new earth.
Yeah, you said some beautiful things here. Well, one that hits me because it's so important is you said your gut told you so, and you acted immediately. And I think that's a huge message for people to understand. They can trust within. And we tend to have, or I used to be that guy that takes that square peg, I can push it through a round hole like nobody else can, because I would work so hard and force it in, and I would win. I'm a winner. You know what I mean? That would be the myth that I was a winner. And I think, are you a winner because you crossed the finish line all bloodied and battered, or would I just be a winner if I smoothly cross the finish line also? You know what I mean? So, or why is a winner so important? These are the things that go through my mind. So I've learned about 4 or 5 years ago now, I think it is, maybe a little less. It's all about trusting that first instinct, that gut, for me. And the way it's led, it's just been absolutely tremendous. You said something else though that really hits me. I think is very, very important for people to hear. Is you can hold your unique individuality and whatever's wonderful about you. You can be completely different from somebody else, but still embrace each other together and be synergistic together. And I think that goes along with what Greg started when at the beginning is we can embrace everybody together. We do not have to be so black and white. In fact, I always say that black and white, that's a Freemasonry construct. The reality is there's a whole level of hue in the middle that's wonderful that we should really dive in and embrace. So thank you both for that. I think you're very, very important. And one thing that's very clear is that negative ego is not affected between the two of you. And I think that's very special to see, actually. So cool. Kudos for you on that. I learned a lot from both of you, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, can I go into just a touch on what me and Jarin do? Because
please.
I think the audience might not, if they haven't seen Rise TV or they don't know the fullness of what we do, we've really evolved over 5 years here. So Jarin is a cosmic human design coach. So if you've heard of human design, then you're kind of halfway there. But what happened is, and Lewis has talked about the 13th month calendar, right? That there was something missing in human design, and it was built on a 12-month calendar. So Jarin ended up finding somebody that could do the calculations and brought out cosmic human design, which is a much different design for you because it starts shifting things, the dial a little bit, and brings you into either a different design or different parts of your design, the way they work together. But Jarin can explain that a little bit better when we get to that. But the cosmic human design coach, the manifestation teacher, and he's a motivational speaker. He's a amazing person, especially to have on the show, because I can go to him and he can take almost any subject and just bring it to life. And that's why we call him Light 'em Up, Mr. Kenyon, right? Because he lights you up. And so it's amazing what he can do with his abilities in and out his mouth is just amazing sometimes, and it just fires up a crowd. So it's amazing stuff. I'm a visionary, so I'm a projector in the cosmic human design system. I design things. I love to, see images. Like if I see a Marvel movie, I may see an image in that Marvel movie and go, "Oh man, I could make something amazing just from that idea," right? And I can pick it and I can make something incredible. So I love designing things. I love doing digital stuff, as you see behind me. And also I love to just see what can happen next in someone's life or my own life. I can kind of see it coming, and we're writing a book right now called The Rise Code. We're actually getting close to the end of that. Me and him co-authored a book together. So we're really excited to release that very soon. And it's got a lot of graphical stuff to it, a lot of drawings, it's a really easy read, but really, really powerful information. And the subtitle is The 9 Steps to Ascension. So it's really a manual for you as a light worker or a person who's really awakened to bring along with you and to really help you along your path here with these 9 steps. And also we have the School of Om. So that's a Wednesday night show. It's live, it's free, it's on our Rumble channel, and it's with Emily from Quantum Stellar Initiative. We've been doing this for almost a year now, and it's amazing. We do these hour-long shows where we pump you up, we get you full of amazing information, amazing vibrations, and then we finish it off with Jarin doing a motivational, manifestational, meditational type activity, and then I do one following that, and it's usually leaving you feeling great vibes. You go to sleep maybe after that, and you just feel real good vibes. The next day you might have a great day. We get a lot of great reviews from that. People are really enjoying those episodes. So we've got Rise TV on Sundays. We've got our School of Om on Wednesday nights. We've got our book coming out. And then we've got the Quantum Business School that we're working with another coach, Lee, and she's amazing at what she does. And we've just combined the three coaches. She takes her marketing and all that kind of ability and brings me and Jarin in here to bring the spiritual aspect to your business, right? Make your business an organism. And then we're able to really push forward in your ideas and your visions of who you want to be in your brand. And it really does make a huge impact on your life and who you really are. Who are you is the biggest question out there. So Jarin, I don't know if you want to fill in some blanks there that I talked about there.
Yeah, well said, man. And Greg, what I love about Greg is he is a worker, much like you, Lewis, man. He will just go and go and go, and you give him something, you give him an idea, and he will just jump on it. And Greg, is in constant pursuit of what the next step is, or the next version of himself, the next version of his creativity, or how he can help someone else in how they present themselves and how they look. And he's really great at seeing into people and helping them to show, helping them to see spots that they might not see yet in themselves, or aspects of, where they want to bring themselves out more. So, and he's a real aspiring media wizard, I'll tell you, in a couple of years, just imagine where he's going to be. And he's very much a producer and a director in his own right. And we have a lot of intentions and plans on much more than just a show over the computer here. But just giving credit where credit's due, because he puts in a lot of effort and time. And by the way, yeah, we want to do this and grow and expand, but it's all for service to humanity. Oftentimes it's, the work we put in, we don't get anything back. That's changing. We get joy back, we get love back, we get to see the world, grow, we get to see people evolve, and it's transitioning into these even monetary products and programs that we're speaking to. But a lot of this effort behind the scene is just the willingness that that's where all your free time goes. Everything is for the cause, without expectation, knowing that inside our worthiness is how we receive the prosperity from the kingdom of the creation. Knowing we are worth what we're doing, knowing we're receptive to what is being given to us as we go to process. And some of it out there, everybody, is going to be in the hands of medium. You'll get the currency, we'll call it that, that's ever evolving and shifting. And some of it is just learning that the new world is also just manifesting through synchronicity and through services, like a barter system of others. Mm-hmm. And that there's magic behind prosperity beyond even just the physical. So all that is kind of coming together, and that's why also we're in the School of Om doing these manifestation practices, doing these chants, these quantum sounds, these meditations, even in Quantum Stellar Initiative, to people with the consciousness that sees the new currency, but understands that regardless of all these things, of whatever pans out, it's going to be in response to our consciousness. It's not going to be something random and extra to save us. So everything is to do with consciousness. And I just wanted to point that out first, and then finally say that, the human design, just quickly, since Greg mentioned, it's using true sidereal astrology. In fact, I did a whole couple-hour talk on this yesterday. Its standard design is using tropical astrology, which is your standard 12 signs, 30 degrees, that most people are used to, the horoscope that changes every 19th, 20th, 21st of every month. And I'm here to say, this is my truth. You can discern how you wish, but that is an absolute lie. That is not the God sky. That is not the visible cosmos. If you took a telescope out, that is not what you would see. That's a false use of time, which combined with the false use of language is a lot of why we're under the spell or quarantine we've been in. So what this is designed to do is it brings you back in touch with the true astrology. There are 13 signs. They're all different sizes. They're not the same size, just like people and trees. And we have an ever-changing sky. So in the last 2,000 years, let's point to that date, we have evolved 30 degrees on the dial, where we've rotated every 72 years, roughly a degree. So you have to turn everything 30 degrees, even from 2,000 years ago. Wouldn't make sense to have a fixed sky, would it? That sounds like slavery to me, and that's not how the cosmos operates. So the sky is ever changing. They are all unique sizes. They're not communist here, where everything is the same. No, they're not all 30 degrees. And there are 13 signs, and the fucus is vital because it brings in the spirit, our quantum nature, right? And who we really are. We are not just the flesh and blood. We are the spirit behind the matter, behind the body, behind the mind. Because you have a mind, you have a body, you have an emotions, you have a reality, but you are not them. What you are is much more. That is a reflection of yourself. So design, combined with overall consciousness training, can help us to create from the spirit, to be in harmony with the cosmos, and to use your body and mind like a remote control or a game player, where you realize you're the person behind it. And if I want to change my reality, I got to change myself. I have to transform myself. So in finality, we've created the cosmic human design to have the true astrology behind it. So now you can get a glimpse at where your intuition is, what your quantum mechanics are, what's my life's work, what makes me healthy, what's my core wound. All these elements of genetic energy behind the genes that you are here to evolve, to move from the 3D shadow of reaction, fight or flight, like Lewis mentioned. How do I walk the uncomfortable truth, embrace my gift, in courage and faith, and be the higher virtuous human? What's the next evolution of human beings that are living in higher frequencies of morals, of values, both on an individual level, because nobody has your unique code. You have a unique pattern, a unique path, and you are unbelievably unique. Nobody is you. Nobody ever will be you, and you're here to do it your way. Be you and grow as you. And at the same time, we have foundational principles of which we are all governed by, whether we remember it or not. And now as we begin to remember, we can actually get in touch with, like Lewis mentioned, the true quantum field, the true cosmic field, and the loving, giving, harmonious cosmos that's always there. But it cannot help us the way that it's always will, because of our ego and the collective ego and its groups, parasitical energy that we have become programmed to over time. So to make this quick, that is not what you want to feed. It is not a good thing. And we feed it like a parasite, and we don't even know. So what we got to do is deprogram from that, come from the true self. Say the inner no, say the no to what isn't resonant for us outside, and yet transform ourselves, and then not only do the work, not only work with Lewis, not only work with Greg and work at human teams, but ask in the cosmic helpers and the invisible helpers of the world and nature itself. Energy that wants to help you, entities that want to help you, that are in support in cosmic harmony, because that's what they wish for us. If we see them as part of us in oneness and equality, though, these angels, these guides, everything you see out there that we have identities to or names to, if you view it as higher than you, you're not getting support from a pure thing, because they are not devolved. They do not save you, and they don't want to see as better than you. They're your friends. If you see them as equal with you, now we're really moving. We got the visible and the visible help, and the cosmos can create together. If you call upon some deity and you look at it as better than you or to save you, you're going to have some false dark spirit come in to be assisting you, because no true enlightened spirit is going to help you unless you recognize that it exists, that it's there to do its own gift, whatever that may be, and that it is equal to you. So we're all about equality yet uniqueness, and that's what we also represent and wish to represent at Rise. Your uniqueness and equality. But that does not mean that we are equally participating in the amount of time, attention, energy that we're putting forth on the new earth. That's all going to be up to you. How much time, attention, intention, study, work are you putting out? Because that's going to determine where you're going to go. And those of us that are in an aligned frequency together will traverse that threshold together. Those that are in distraction or holding on to the ego and the identities that came from the past, you're going to notice a little more challenge and being a little left behind until you eventually rise to your own transformation of what exists truthfully, not in what we were taught about, reality in service of the cabal or the Illuminati or the ego and collective ego entity itself, which isn't even really a thing.
Yeah, well, that was powerful. I think it's very interesting that you touched on something I think is powerful, is about holding a deity up, but as a much higher being. I think it absolutely dismantles our own self when we do that. My personal belief is that that God works through us and with us, and I don't beg God for anything. I absolutely, I manifest through prayer as an, I wouldn't, we could say as an equal, whatever it is, but I believe that there's I keep saying this word, but there's a symbiosis through and through that's very important for us to reach, because when we constantly look up to above, to a higher, and not within, I think we're setting ourselves up for failure. And this is no, I'm not diminishing any religion, although I think the religions themselves have been the reason why we've had so much war and death and destruction throughout many millenniums. And now we create our own religion now too. We create our own religions now, and it tends to be self-destructive because we empower something as much bigger and better than us. So I think that was very powerful what you said. It's because we are limitless, and there's even teachings inside the Bible that tell us that it comes from within, and the Christ is between your temples. So it's very I think we're in a wonderful time. I'm going to shift gears a little bit to this. Is I've noticed, I'm seeing just every day the dismantling of, say, big pharma, big corporations are just, they're falling daily when people are waking up and they're saying, let's take our own personal empowerment, and let's not look for something that's going to address the symptoms. Let's take care of ourselves so we don't ever have those symptoms, in regards to health. And I think the same thing from a mental standpoint we're seeing in why would we want a corporation to control us? We can build and create our own. I have a question, two questions I want to definitely get to with you guys, because I'm always in the learning process, and I feel like until my last day I'm going to be in the learning process, which to me, that's my healthy journey. You mentioned, Greg, Ascension. I want to go into what your definition of Ascension is, what that looks like. And you mentioned, Jarin, 3D. And I always jump on the spiritual gypsies out there when they're talking about 3D, 4D, 5D, So I want to go into that a little bit also, so we can have an understanding of what you're coming from. Let's start with you, Greg. And I know, Jarin, you have a lot to give on this. What's your definition of Ascension? What does that mean to you?
Yeah. So when we talk about Ascension, just like our show has evolved over time, it's human evolution to get yourself into that spirit, right? So we're born on this earth, and we are certainly indoctrinated. We're certainly brought through the school system. Our parents are already indoctrinated. So most parents, they're going to indoctrinate us too. We're going to be in these programmed loop pattern people, right? And we're going to be part of the system. We're going to pay our taxes. We're going to go to work. We're going to complain. We're going to drink our beer at the bar. We're going to do our typical routine, and it's going to be the same routine all the time. We're not going to break free, and we're just going to be old age by that point. We're going to retire. We're going to go down to Florida, and we're going to live in a house, and that's going to be our life, right? We're not going to have any epiphanies, anything that's going to change the world inside of us, even though it's there. We're not going to evolve because they've put us in their system. To me, Ascension is when we have that thing go off inside of us, that flame, that whatever gets lit by someone questions something, or we see something and we go, huh? And we actually have a moment, even if it's the movie The Matrix, right? We see the movie The Matrix, we go, well, what if? So we have those questions. Then we start this progression process. And as we go through this progression progress, process, we see ourselves asking questions, changing, doing things that we don't normally do. People around us, our people that are close to us, go, "What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Who are you now?" Right? And this is what happens. I remember my father in my 20s said to my mother, he always relays messages through my mother to me. So my mother says, "Your father said that he thinks you're going to go be a preacher somewheres," because of the way I was evolving through my spirituality. I was reading books, I was watching movies, I was talking to professors and people who teach this stuff. I was finding gurus out there to work with. I was evolving. And because I was evolving, I'm changing. People around you that are close to you, they don't like people that change, because that's going to mean they have to look at you different and wonder, why am I not changing? They don't want that self-identity. They want to be able to just do their normal stuff. So as you evolve, as you become aware, as you start to grow, then you start the ascension process. The ascension process to finding out who you truly are, the spirit inside. Who is that soul? Who am I? Am I an ancient being, right? Have I lived many lifetimes on this earth? If you believe that. Am I from another galaxy? Am I a Pleiadian, for example? There's all these things out there that you could have happened to you. But ultimately, you find the person inside that is godlike, right? That you connect to, that you say, wow, I'm much more powerful than I ever thought I was. Wow, I actually know some things about myself that I didn't even learn. I just felt them. Then you start to see the I3 superpowers come to you. We like our formulas here on Rise. So we talk about a lot of threes, right? We like our threes. So the I3, the imagination, intuition, inspiration, right? Is those three create you to go inside and have an inside explosion, an interstellar explosion, so that you are starting to explode from the inside out and saying, this is who I am, and I'm going to project that to the world. So in your ascension process, you start to become more authentic. You start to become more confident. You're drawing your confidence from the universe. It's the teardrop finding the ocean and saying, oh, this is me. Not this one little drop, but the entire ocean is me. That's the Ethernet of who you are. That is who you can connect to. And that is the download that is the ascension of process. So that is my definition of ascension in my words. Jarin, you want to finish off there?
This time, good one, man. I guess I'll start here as we shift into my whatever this version of Jarin's definition of dimensions come to be. I think that as a whole, we have to remember that the producer has given us everything. You have access to everything. You're waking up to the fact that you're acting. You know, we've been compulsively, unconsciously acting. Maybe now we're more consciously choosing and acting in the play. But the middle ground is, it's up to you to direct. You're the director and the reactor. The director gets into some of what Greg mentioned: imagination, intention, intentional manifestation, intuition. You know, you start to set the path on your destiny. You start to use your mind in the correct way, which is actually by focusing and feeling on the effect, the journey, the place you wish to go, and then feeling it, charging it, then letting it go, and living the magic carpet ride as God, the cosmos, nature itself takes you to it, where you do not know how. You're willing to walk it, you know where you're heading, but you're in the mystery and you're in the joy and you're in the experience. That's one element to ascension, is we're going to use the mind correctly. Correctly is a relative word. I guess I could use higher intelligently. And that does not mean intellect, by the way. Intelligence and intellect are not the same thing, and oftentimes some of the most intellectual people have a cap on how far they can go, which I'll touch to in a moment, because intellect inevitably is a limitation. It's not the midbrain aspect of your conceive ability, your ability to create, the pineal gland, right? Your imagination, the part of you that does not know the difference between fantasy and reality, that when you focus on your fantasy and believe it, it will become true. Okay, that part, and the intuition. So we're going to use higher aspects of our brain there. Now, on top of that, I think the producers changed the game, so to speak, if you want to call it that. So even though we're always given everything, now at this point with the energy being jolted up at this special place in space that we arrived to, which they would call the time of ascension, you could say we arrived at a place in space, or this golden age where the energy has increased and we're being caused to do a few things. One, learn new things and learn our power. The other one is transmute and let go of what is dense, what is egoic, what is old, what is dark, what does not fit or suit us as we traverse into what I'm calling the fifth dimension or higher. So there's a lot going on to your creation, and to recognize that half of creation is destruction. So what are you letting go of, and what are you transmuting inside of yourself? Beliefs, habits, patterns, projections, or distraction, attention, distracting. What of those kind of things are you moving on from and letting go of? The exhale, just as much as what you're creating and what you're bringing in. Okay, that, and then the 3D and basics, I would just say it's like, I guess we could have so much of a conversation on it, but I would say that for one thing, 3D is highly emotional and reaction. It's separation, okay? It's identity. You're casting identities constantly on people, and you have your own, and on programs, and you just give in to them. And you're highly reactional, thinking that the universe or the cosmos is a force over you. Then you become a victim to it, or you blame it or judge it or attack it from the ego. So that's 3D. We're kind of moving through and beyond that. Hopefully we're all becoming a little less reactional. It doesn't mean we don't respond accordingly. Response is different than reaction, right? 4D, this is when I was viewing like 2019, 20, 21, 22 on the collective. I would say, man, we're gonna have a lot of 4D stuff out here. 4D is more of the mental or astral plane. In fact, to me, it's time in a way. It's like this wormhole. It's this place that you only stay at for a little while. You're not designed to like live there long. And you could say that's where manipulation has occurred, through the 4D into our psyche and through taking over the mind, okay, and causing us to think we are the mind and think for that, even though we're not thinking for ourselves. So we're traversing that, and I think that that's really exciting. You become more intelligent, you think, you become more aware in certain levels, you start to see what needs to change or what you want to identify to next, but it only is going to arrive you to a certain point. And I think now more of us are arriving to heart to mind, or even the higher mind, which isn't the thinking. It comes last, the executor. Higher heart, higher mind, and moving into a place of unity through diversity, and acceptance of the process, yet commitment to where you're headed. And you've grabbed the wheel, you've accepted it. Not only have you grabbed the wheel, you've improved your car, you're taking care of it, which would be your body, right? So you have a body that functions, you're taking care of that. That's what your design helps you learn too. Then the personality and your attention is steering, but you don't know how. You don't cast the projection of who's going to be there and how it's going to be and the control mechanisms. You just see where you're going with your fantasy. You bring it into practicality of what can I do next? And I feel it in my bones and my body. And I enjoy the ride there and know that, hey, just because I had a bump in the road, there's something to learn here. There's something to let go of. There's something to transform, or maybe just accept it and put my attention elsewhere because something great is coming for me. And you'll watch step by step by step, these jumps, and things will fill in non-linearly. Wow, this was for this area in my life. Now this was for this. If you walk without expectations. So you're not projecting how and expectations on what should happen. You're staying in your insight. Your insight would be who you really are. I'm an eternal being having a human experience. What am I becoming? That's what determines your manifestation. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you're being and what you're emanating. So who am I becoming? And then lastly, what am I manifesting? And so no matter what goes on in the world of appearances out here and who thinks what, you don't get too propped up by people that think you're special. You don't get too propped down by people that judge you. You just view it all kind of for what it is, right? You just traverse and you see it and you say, well, this is where I'm heading. This is who I'm becoming. And I know that that's the real world, my inside, and I will watch it form. And if I stay congruent to who I am and live in cosmic principles, then I'm going to live this movie that we speak of, that oftentimes people talk about, of the 5D Earth or Eden on Earth or the Ascension itself. That's how we do it, from the inside out, with conviction, yet allowing the process.
I'm glad we touched on this because and Carol was just asking me what my opinion of Ascension is, but I'll touch on it because I resonate with a lot of what both of you were saying, especially as what I love is you're saying Ascension's not some airy-fairy thing that just happens. We are part of the process, right? And we're accountable for our ascension. We can call it our personal evolution, whatever we want to call it, but we take part in this. And I think that's the absolute beautiful thing. It's not some solar flash that's going to come down and suddenly we ascend. Now, I'm not debating, maybe there's some assistance out there in regards to the cosmos. That's fantastic. But I really appreciate that both of you are saying that we need to put in the work and we're part of the process. It's not something that happens to us. And I think that's very, very powerful message. And that's going to help us move forward and move through this. I do believe personally that going through what we call ascension is like changing the color of sunglasses that you have on, and that we see things differently the farther we evolve down the road, and you really never see them the same again, which is really cool. I would suggest that everybody just embraces this, and if you're in a religion, you can still ascend personally. They're not mutually exclusive. So people may say, well, I'm Christian or I'm Muslim or I'm Jewish, you know what I mean? So that's all BS. No. You can ascend personally throughout this and become a better version of yourself, for sure. So I think the messages that you say are very, very powerful. I do have another question. Before I get there, though, is your Rumble channel? It's Rise TV, correct?
Well, it's Rise Evolution. So RISE Evolution, VOL.
Because I see so many, and I thought I was on the right one, and I think I might be wrong.
He's made a few.
Yeah, you'll see me, Jarin, and Victoria in the little bubble. So it's Rise Evolution. Okay. So
I just want to recommend the right channel to everybody.
But if you want to see all of our full episodes, you just go to rumble.com/Rise TV. And that's a created channel that would show every episode of our full Rise TV episodes. If you want to see School of Om, rumble.com/School of Om. So it's very simple to get to those. Okay. But the main channel that has everything listed is Rise Evolution.
Okay, cool. I'm going to put that right now in the chat. And for anybody coming back on not the live, but the recorded, I'm putting it right now. So you can get to it if you just refresh. If you don't refresh, you would have to come back to this, but it's going to be right here in the description. Also, I just want to make sure we had the right one there, guys. And the reason why I'm mentioning this, folks that are watching, the fastest way, we are on Rumble. Take the time right now. Just click on that link in the chat that I just put there. Go subscribe to their channel. You're not going to miss anything. It will take you to another page, so you'll still be able to hear us talking. Just go subscribe right now. That's the best way to do it, because, inherently we are all procrastinators.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a quick question for you, Greg. Did you created that graphic that's behind you?
Yeah, I did it this morning.
Wow.
I knew I was coming on. Yeah, I was like, oh.
A couple minutes.
I just did this morning, no problem. That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I love the waterfall that's gold. It's just amazing to me, and it shows me the future of the new Earth. That's what I love about it.
I love it. Well, I call it New Terra, so we're pretty close on there. So that's really cool. Jarin, where did you find, what are the origins to the whole 3D discussion, 4D, 5D discussion? Do you know? I've always been curious of that.
The origins, as
yeah,
in,
like where do we learn this from?
Oh my God, that is a good question. I mean, for me, it started with life and my willingness, my connection to source, and my willingness to learn, and my willingness to be interested in what is not yet known, or what may be hard to find, or just my passion in manifestation. You know, learning in intention, the power of intention. That's where it starts for everybody, honestly, is your willingness and your ability to start to connect with your creative nature, and then allowing the process to happen. From there, you will get your answers to anything. You will arrive upon the teachers or the books that come to you. For me, I learned a lot from, I have an Indian teacher guru named Dr. Pillai. He's all over YouTube, PillaiCenter.com. Highly recommend if you want to learn sound technology and a variety of other things. And then I've learned from Michael Beckwith, who's the African-American amazing speaker from The Secret, who has Agape out in Los Angeles. And that is really what also woke me to, this is how we can be as a group. This is how we can be as a family. When you see 1,000 people in a room of amazingness, everybody's different culture, different beliefs, different everything, and yet still in oneness and in this immense vibratory frequency of the new Terra. That's where I learned from life. And, you know, and then a variety of things can come to me. Where you look, I don't know. I will tell you, I have one recommendation of a book where you can learn a lot about the true self versus the ego, and discussion of cosmic helpers, which all lends itself to 5D versus 3D, and that is the Oracle of the Cosmic Way. So this is like a free gift of an idea for people out there. The Oracle of the Cosmic Way, which is the true I Ching. Okay, it's the true I Ching, the book of transformation. Many of the books and things that have been indoctrinated, either purposely or just through fantasy and illusion and storytelling of human beings, either way you want to look at it, have lost their true source. This is one that will show you the difference between many I Ching versions, which calls itself the Book of Changes, which we do not want, because change can imply no movement, bad or good, no spiraling up, no ascension, no transformation. This is the Book of Transformation. And it's something I highly recommend to people on a universal level. So you can take a look at what it means of the ego. You can take a look at how cosmic principles might work for you. And you can also discover your unique design within it. So when you start to explore your imprint and your process, you can take a look at that. And that's really the best advice I have right now, is that book, and then learn through life based on your intention of what you're seeking to learn, and you will be brought what is right for you, which may be different than what is for someone else, right? And the teacher will come when the student is ready. So when you're ready, you will find whatever that is for you. And a real teacher will not think they're better than you and they have all the answers, and they won't be fed off the ego. Mm-hmm. They will give you what they know, say it's up to you, and say you have to experience for yourself to determine what's true for you. Don't just take my word for it. Put it into practice and see what works for you. And I think that's important out there with a lot of false, or let's say egotistical sages out there. You'll find a humble, honest, yet empowered teacher or source, and that's what they'll want you to be uniquely.
Yeah, beautifully said.
Lewis, so I wanted to bring up quickly, we talked about religions and cults and everything on our Rise TV episode with Jason Q, Emily Tang, and Dylan Louise Monroe. We had those three all together, and they're amazing. That's our third episode with them. And we talked about a little bit of that stuff. And I was trying to get them to define what a cult was, and what do we have to look out for when we look into cults? Are we part of one just being in the United States. You know, I mean,
yeah, good
amazing.
question.
So, but I had personal experience with a cult. Nexium was based in Albany, New York, and into Clifton Park, New York, where I was a young 20-year-old, maybe a little bit younger than that even, working at a community center. And the friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, got recruited to them. I didn't know what this was about, but he was hanging out with this place all the time. And he started to be very tired and started to really like not be himself. And then he said, man, I had to go to volleyball last night in the middle of the night. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they got me up out of bed. I had to be there. They played 2 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning. And I had to be there. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Well, they said I had to go. I'm like, oh my God. So years later, Nexium got caught, right? Allison Mack, who was a celebrity, she starred in the show Smallville. She was part of that group, and she was recruiting women to be part of the group and ultimately become part of a sex cult, basically. So it was crazy. I was so close to being recruited because they kept on asking me to go, and I was like, I just don't have time to go, or I wasn't interested, right? But my friend certainly got himself in deep, and it took me a long time to pull him out because he was doing really bad. So I watched a documentary just the other day on Allison Mack and the entire thing and how it built. This guy, he was part of Amway. You remember the pyramid scheme?
Oh, yeah.
He decided to make his own pyramid scheme called the cult Nexium. And he was charging people thousands of dollars to take his courses, to recruit people. And by the time you could graduate to the next level in the Nexium pyramid program, you had to spend $1 million before you could get to that point. So he was brainwashing all these people by telling them he was the smartest person in the world. He didn't have to sleep but 2 hours a night. They even mentioned on the documentary how he would make people play volleyball in the middle of the night, go for long walks with people in the middle of the night, because that's when you brainwash people, right? You're getting into the subconscious because you're tired.
That's right.
The subconscious program happens when you're tired. So if you want to put something good in yourself before you fall asleep, get positive thoughts, positive manifestations, that's when you put it in. Yep. But if you want to brainwash somebody, take them for a walk at 2 o'clock in the morning when they're overtired, and then you can brainwash. So he was excellent at manipulation, right? So the things he taught, the values, the courses he taught were very good stuff. I actually was like, wow, that's pretty good material. Mm-hmm. But what it is with a gatekeeper is they give you 90% truth, and then they slip in the 10%. So everybody out there in the audience, watch out for that. That's the turnkey. They got you, right? They hook you in, and then they got you. They turnkey, and they give you the parts that say, you're not allowed to leave here. You have to obey everything I say. Mm-hmm. Then it starts, right? It starts where you're listening to everything they said. Well, they've taught me all this stuff, and I look at them as a guru, somebody high up, and I want to really listen to them. I don't want to disappoint. As human beings, we get it in our heart that we don't want to disappoint somebody. So what do? Not tell them the truth, not tell them the authentic self, what we want to really say. We just go, okay, I guess I'll do that. And then you go ahead and you do it and you do it and you do it, and it becomes a habit. And now you're hooked in a cult. Well, that's what happened to Allison Mack, and she became one of his biggest people. He made 8 organizations that were connected to Nexium, called them all different things. Nobody knew they were connected. And that's how he was recruiting even more people through women empowerment programs, through all kinds of things. So we got to watch out for all these things right now, because in the truther community, in the spiritual community, these things are going on right now. Mm-hmm. So be very careful out there. Use discernment, use your abilities to express yourself authentically, and make sure you're not getting caught up in that stuff. So I just wanted to put that out as a warning.
No, I think it's important. In the truth community, it's 100% going on right now. You people are going to be blown away when they find out who's doing it. And some people are unwittingly doing it also. They don't even know that they don't know. It's crazy. So where are we going from here, guys? I know you have your amazing show and so on and so forth. What do you have on the horizon?
Well, we would love to make it to a truth tour for sure. I know that we have very busy schedules, especially me. I have 3 kids, 5 pets, and a full-time job. So I got a lot going on besides all the show stuff and all the book writing and all the other stuff I'm doing. But we're also making courses here and there. So, but I would love to get into the, shows where we can teach this stuff to people as an audience, right? That they're not just going to watch something like a comedy show or a people speaking, but they're actually interacting and they're actually learning things and they're actually growing from the show, meeting people, becoming a community, and really seeing who they are and being able to express their authentic self in environments where it's promoted, where you're promoted to be unbrainwashed and actually get into the spiritual self, get into that heart space, and really start to become that warrior that you were meant to be on earth. Me and Jarin both believe that you can become a superhero. You have unique gifts inside to unlock that superhero. And when you said limitless, Lewis, we used to have a program called Become Limitless, because that's what we believe you can be. If you think limited, you're putting yourself in a box. You're not able to go outside that box unless you really break through. But if you're limitless, no walls, no restrictions, you can be who you want to be. So that's really where we want to go with taking this to the road and really start to make this an educated program of a live event. What do you think, Jarin?
I think I'm hearing become limitless, and it's reminding me how much I like that term again and how synchronistic that is. So I'm just throwing that out there. But yes, yeah. I've myself done several events, really in a lot of places of the world, just pop-ups and, some bigger person events and whatnot. But I'm very excited for what's to come with this, because like Greg mentions, everyone can be their own superhero. And part of the intention of this isn't just one teacher, one leader, one message. It's a group of Avengers working in collaboration and harmony with one another that provide different aspects to make the event even bigger, even better, even greater, even more expansive, and kind of flow together again like a band or like a symphony. And so that's what I love most about it too, is the amazing people that we will be working with as teachers, and of course the supporters, and of course the audience members there. And like Greg said, it's coming soon. We're in talks of what's going to be the first of this installment and who will be there and everything else. But it's about magic, it's about empowerment, it's about joy and fun, and it's about quantum type things that actually are based on our internal technology as much as we're seeking the external technology. And can you just imagine being in a room, let's just say there's 500 people even, and everybody's done their chi breath, everybody's got their energy up, the music is pumping, that's inspiring people. We're all doing these chants and these powerful vibrational practices that are causing our consciousness to rise. We're implementing, journaling and other various practical tools to be able to direct our energy. We're learning how to create and being supported in creating our own dream, as well as our tribal dreams, and how we're interacting together. And we're putting out intention for the world, but in a real physical, in-person setting with people that are truly believing it, truly resonating, and truly for the whole. And that's the kind of audience that will attract, not just for themselves, but for the whole. And I think we're synchronistically right now aligning to who and what and where that begins and becomes its own tour, so to speak, that we'll be taking on the road everywhere.
Very cool. Yes, I look forward to it. I know you guys will do a phenomenal job, and we the people need this for sure. So that's excellent. Excuse me, real quick, folks. People are asking. This is not rum from a pirate ship. This is just it's just water but
Oh yeah.
it's got really cool frequencies engraved with on the water bottle itself.
Nice.
And no, I have no idea where to buy it. So I'm the worst promoter of my own stuff. I'm really good at promoting everybody else's.
Greg's been good at that till now. Yeah.
I don't know. My wife always says, did you forget this? Or yeah, I always do. I always do. Anyways, guys, it's been absolutely wonderful. Ed, do you want to leave us with any final notes? They know where to find you. People appreciate you, as do I. I think your hearts, minds, and souls seem to be in the right place. So I really appreciate the work you're doing. Anything else you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that, I know we didn't talk about a lot of intel and truth telling and all those type of things. And we do support that 100%. We love those people playing those roles. They need to be. But it's all about the awakening process. And if you are graduating yourself past just information and wanting to actually take action in your life, that's how you get into tune with, Rise TV and a lot of what Lewis does with teaching. You gotta get inside and you gotta start doing the work. And I know the word work doesn't sound good to us, but it's very rewarding when you do this. You get inside, you bring in the right kind of information, the right kind of vibrations into yourself, and then you start to learn how to avoid certain types of energy and how to absorb the great kind of energy. And then you start living a much better life, making better decisions for yourself, vibrating at better levels. And then you can affect those around you much better, your children, your family, your loved ones. You can really start to, vibrate at such good levels that you're affecting them. And that's the greatest thing when you can give that to them, those gifts. And, we love all our guests that come on. So that's what you're kind of getting at Rise TV, the intel for within, right? So we really, really love that stuff. And empowerment over fear. All you hear in the news and the media everywhere is fear. Even the headlines of now truthers are fear-based. YouTube videos, whatever. They want clicks, so they're giving you fear-based stuff. Look for empowerment. Look for the places that you can really find the most beautiful, harmonious message. Yes, you are a warrior, but that doesn't mean you have to go into fear all the time to become that warrior. You can be a warrior in neutrality, in the empowerment zone, and then empower other people. That is what humanity is, right? Service to others so that it comes back to you tenfold. That's what it's all about. Everybody's service to others, and that's what we're here doing. All right, Jarin, on to you.
First of all, I just want to say we're extremely appreciative, Lewis, to be brought on your platform, and we're very honored. And I just want to give something that seems simple and practical away, but I like to give some call to action and something that we can practically use. Everyone, see if you can spend 20 minutes a day for the next week journaling your intentions, your dreams, your goals. Spend 20 minutes a day and journal. That's it. It's a recommendation, and watch what happens when you do so. So I wanted to say that. Second is the awakening is inside of you, where you realize who and what you really are and what is the actual cosmic experience I'm having. There is an awakening to what's going on in the world. That is true. That is part of the process. But the real awakening is that. And when you awaken to that, enlightenment is never ending. You will never arrive there. It is an ongoing journey that I call vertical. Vertical through your intention, through your prayer, through your willingness, and through your experience in life. In humbleness, but also in conviction. So I wanted to say that. And third of all, we are extremely excited to be at this current place in time. And for those of you out there that might think, oh, things are taking forever, things aren't working, or when are we going to get there, or if. Concern yourself with you and realize that there are people that recognize that we are already there. We already have the win, like Lewis says, God's already won. It's up to us to just live it ourselves and to know that not everybody is on the same journey as you. Not everybody is on that same journey. They have their own unique process. We will go where we're going, and it is already assured. That will be what it is, and as the old dies away, it will still exist as what it is. Where do you want to be around? What direction do you want to be in? Do you want to be in your passion and purpose, or do you want to be over there? Let it be what it is. You can learn from it, but don't get lost in manifesting for it because your attention is on it all the time. Learn from it, then move on to you and move on to who's around you in your positive expression of growth, because we're already there. We're just playing it out now, and we're getting a chance to create what's never occurred before, ever. And it isn't just a written script for you. It's a potential for you that you get to carve out the details. So become laser focused and enjoy painting your own picture of your dream, because that's where you're at now, and that's where we're going. We're here, and it's only going to get better from here.
Beautiful. Well, guys, amazing having you on the show. I really appreciate you coming on a Saturday and giving us a little bit of an enlightenment. And it's real hope, not hopium. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. As a reminder, folks, you can find these gentlemen are all they do. You can find their links below in the description. I know it's Gina's posting their links right now. Also, make sure you go to the Rumble, check that out, and subscribe. Upcoming for us, as you know, guys, the Cages documentary is going to be coming out really. There, believe it or not, there's positive messages with inside that, because it's not about breaking people. It's about how we can take it back. There is the True Tour coming up. Just go to truetour.net, San Diego, June 24th. Amazing guests are going to be there. And I know I'm going to see you guys soon in the future, either in person or on one of our channels. From the audience to me to you, I really appreciate the work you're doing, and thank you for being on here today.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. It'll take a second to clear here. As you know, if you go live on Rumble, there's always a delay.
Yep.
So let's see here.